Hello there. My name is Eve. Are you interested in women? If you are, settle back in that chair of yours and relax. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. The thing I like most about my life is how many different kinds of things I do in a week. Of course, I spend a lot of time at the office where I work, and a good bit of time taking care of the house. To buy things, sometimes I go marketing near where we live, and sometimes I get dressed up and go downtown shopping. In the evening, mostly, we have some friends over and watch television, play cards, or just talk, but every once in a while we go out dancing or to a party. Then, if you count weekends, I'm outdoors a lot. We go out to the country for a picnic or fishing or just for a ride. Or we play tennis or go watch a football game. It sounds pretty busy, doesn't it? Well, it is, but I just couldn't be happy without that variety in my life. There's another thing that makes life interesting to me, too. And that's the way things keep changing. Styles change quickly, of course. That's fun, but I mean more than that. Take television, for instance. 8 years ago, TV was just 2 letters in the alphabet. Now TV means that no matter where you live, you can see the best entertainment, and also that a girl can see what clothes the fashionable stars are wearing. Of course, we see that in fashion magazines too, but seeing it on TV really makes it come to life. You know, lately I've become a lot more fashion conscious. But you know the nicest change that's been happening, kind of gradual-like? Do you remember when you had to get on a waiting list to buy a new car and then maybe slip them some money under the table, and how they treated you? Now you can buy almost any new car you want for a few $100s off list price, and they're glad to see you. Discount houses give 20% off on appliances, and instead of me being careful to smile at my butcher, now he smiles at me. In fact, whatever you want today, there are lots of people who are anxious to sell it to you. A girl will buy what she wants, wherever they treat her best. There really isn't any mystery to the way a woman likes to be treated when she's shopping. Take when I'm buying shoes, for example. There are only 3 things I want a shoe salesman to do for me. I want him to talk to me about fashion and give me some real information about styles. Fashion is important. In fact, fashion is the reason I'm in his store at all. And the second thing I want is for him to show me a good selection of shoes, because shopping is selecting, and you need something to select from. And the other thing I want a shoe salesman to do is to treat me like a lady. It's as simple as that. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a man, a salesman who understands. Are you the man I want? Hello there. This is Eve again. It's nice to be talking to you. I'm wondering, do you understand the way a woman feels about things? Not too many men do, you know. But you look like you might. Take women's fashions, for example. Are you like many men who poke fun at us girls for what they call silly styles? Or are you one of the men who understands women? Who understands that fashion is important to us girls? And do you know something funny about us? We like to be as fashionable as we can, no matter what our age. I wanted what the other girls were wearing when I was 7, and I'm sure I'll want to be as attractive as possible when I'm 70. Let's talk about fashion for a minute. Look at your own shoes. Now, well, go ahead, look at them. Then imagine the pair of barebacks I just bought. Do you think I buy shoes for the same reason you do? To protect my feet? No, sir. I buy shoes because they are fashion. And fashionable things do something for me. They boost my self-confidence, make me feel more attractive, more feminine. If I'm in a group with other women and they're dressed fashionably and I'm not, I just feel terrible. But when I'm dressed in the latest style, it makes a different woman out of me. I really am a different woman. Well, the trouble is that I can't afford to buy every style of shoe that's put out. Well, some lucky girls can, but I can't, and I'm never quite sure what the style trend is going to be. When I look at a new style shoe in your window or inside your store, do you know what I'm wondering? Is that really going to be a good fashion, or is it just a fad? If I bought it, what would I wear it with, and when? And then, of course, since not everything looks good on every girl, I think, how would that look on me? I sure would love to find a man who could help me with my shoe problems. You know, a man who really knows what the latest trends in shoe styles are. Well, he'd have to be honest with me, of course, not one of those salesmen who doesn't really care what I get as long as I buy a pair of shoes from him. I can spot that kind a mile away. I want a man who will really help me buy the right style and tell me what the latest thing is and what it's worn with and how it looks on me. If I could find the man who could give me that kind of information and advice, I'd never buy a pair of shoes from anyone else, ever. Are you the man I'm looking for? Hello there. This is your friend Eve again. You wouldn't believe how dumb some men are about women. I said you wouldn't believe it because you're smart where us girls are concerned. But honestly, some fellows just don't get it at all. The men in my family, for instance. Last Saturday, my mother and I went shopping. Well, that is, Mom went shopping for a new hat to match the new dress she'd bought. I just went along to keep her company. Mom bought her hat and a blouse she saw that she liked. Then as we were walking past Baker's, Mom saw a pair of shoes in the window that looked as though they were made to go with her new dress. So she went in to try them on. She bought them, and a box of hosiery, which she was low on. And when the salesman started showing Mom some other shoes, one pair was just perfect for my new gray suit. So I bought them, and the bag they had to match. Well, when we got home from a perfectly wonderful afternoon, those silly men just kidded us for having such a good time shopping and for buying more than we started out to get. But I can tell you how I feel. You'll understand. I just love shopping. Well, it's more than going out to get something. It's fun all by itself. A girl never can tell when she'll see something that was just made for her. I like to see lots of different things when I go shopping. I try them on and imagine that they're mine. Sometimes the shoes I try on are so dreamy I can't bear to part with them. So I buy them. Let's face it, when a gal sees something that looks just gorgeous, her sales resistance is pretty low. Well, sometimes, of course, I just can't afford to get that second or third pair of shoes I fall in love with, so I have to come back again when I can afford it. And sometimes I don't particularly care for any of the other things the salesman shows me, but when he shows me lots of different styles, I love it anyway. It makes me feel, you know, that he has sense enough to think of other things I might like, and he's not just an order taker. I usually have more respect for the opinions of a man like that. When I find a store where they understand that I like a big selection, I always go there first when I need something. And if I find a salesman who seems to enjoy showing me lots of shoes, I'd rather wait a few minutes for him to serve me, because he understands. Hello there. This is your Eve again. I'd like to ask your opinion about something. Do you think men are born gentlemen, or are they all born alike and some become gentlemen and some don't? Well, whichever it is, some men are gentlemen and some aren't, that's for sure. The funny thing is, a girl can tell the difference so easily. It shows in everything a man does, whether he's out on a date with her or whether, let's say, he's selling her a pair of shoes. And it shows in how he treats all women, not just the cute ones. And the way I feel is, being a gentleman is not merely a matter of holding open a door for a lady or holding her chair when she sits down. It's a lot of little things, whether he's thinking of her wishes and feelings and not just his own. A minute ago I used selling shoes as an example of where a man can be a gentleman. The reason I said that is because one of the most perfect gentlemen I ever knew was a shoe salesman. Or rather, he started out as a shoe salesman. Let me tell you about him. It was his attitude more than anything else, I think. Whatever it was that was important to me, he made it important to him, too. I could just feel that he was interested in pleasing me. For one thing, he was careful to fit me properly. And of course, he always gave me a big selection to choose from, and a little bit of inside information about the styles. Another little thing that always made me feel good was the way he got to know my name. Then every time I came in, he said, "Hello, Miss Eve, it's good to see you again." And the way he said it, you knew he meant it. You know, friendly but businesslike, not the least bit fresh or over-personal. Those repulsive salesmen that make fresh remarks or put their hands on you make my skin crawl. You know the type. I suppose I ought to feel sorry for the poor things, but the only thing I can feel is disgust. There was something else nice about my favorite salesman. It was the way he acted when I didn't buy a pair of shoes from him. I'm sure he must have been a little disappointed, but he was always so sweet about it, thanking me for coming in and letting me know I was welcome to come back at any time. Sometimes I couldn't find just what I wanted elsewhere, and I made a beeline back to him for that other style he had shown me. And he was just as sweet one time when I had to bring a pair of shoes back for a refund. After that, how could a girl buy shoes from anybody else? So, naturally, it didn't surprise me at all when this gentlemanly shoe salesman was made the manager of the new store his company opened. I go over to his store now to buy my shoes, even though he himself doesn't wait on customers anymore. I always enjoy going there, and I always walk out glad that I went in. Why aren't more men like him? You look as though you might be that kind. Are you? Remember, all it takes to be a gentleman is to treat me like a lady.